All right, so right now it's recording. It'll even record your voices. It's recording and the video and the sound, and I'll put this on YouTube right after class is what I will do. Sometimes it has problems. I was having a little trouble in the last semester. It wasn't always, like there's a couple of them that wouldn't load for some reason. I still don't know why. But anyway, hopefully it'll load almost everything. So, all right, so here we go. So we're going to solve this problem. So I'd encourage you to write something in your notes to this effect, that we're working right now on, section 1.1, and this is problem number 1. See it up there? This is number 1 out of 20. So the number 1 for you, when you do your homework, will be exactly the same with just different numbers. All the words will be the same. It'll say the area of a triangle, da-da-da-da-da. But instead of B23, it might say B25 and H30 or something. It'll just give you different numbers, but it'll be the exact same question for your homework once you get on the system. It's the same question with different numbers. Okay, so they want us to solve. They're giving us the formula right here. A is a half BH. A is a half BH. And they're telling me the base is 23. The height is 36, and down here they want the area of the whatever it is triangle. So what do? How do I take the B and the H and find the area? It's a plug-in, isn't it? So take that B and plug it in. Take that H and plug it in. You remember when you plug into formulas that you put parentheses around the things you're plugging in? Remember how that works? So plug in the B. 23, plug in the H, 36, like that. I just put parentheses around the B and the H. Want to plug them in. And then, you can use calculators. You can just hit the buttons on your calculator. You can just go 1 divided by 2 times 23 times 36, hit equals, if you want. And I don't know what that is. Somebody have it? What is it?
440.
440? Mm-hmm. 440.
No, 414.
414? Gotcha. 414. We good on that? And so let me show you what that looks like when you type in an answer on Math Excel, if you've got that okay. So this exact will go on YouTube. And so I encourage you to write down most of that, all of that. Keep it in your notes, but it'll also be on YouTube after class. If you need to look back over any of it. So the question you'll have in your homework will be exactly the same, just with different numbers on that. So I'm going to switch back if you got that copied down. So if I ever go too fast for you, like I said, that's why I put them out on YouTube. So I'm trying to teach towards the middle. That's kind of my job, right? I got 45 people, so I'm trying to aim towards the middle. I don't mean the actual physical middle. I mean some people are faster, some are slower. I have to kind of teach to the middle. And so that means I'm going to lose some people. Some people, it's just going to feel like I'm going too fast. Some people are going to be out there bored, like, come on, Mr. Heron, move along. I've got it, right? So I got to kind of teach to the middle. So if I'm going too fast for you, that's why they're on YouTube. You can always check those out later. You can slow it down. You can watch it again and again if you need to. Because we won't have time to do them all. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to do number 5. So I skipped to number 5 here. They're giving me a formula, 4z over y. They're saying the z is 32, the y is 8. The z is 32, the y is 8. So take the z, plug it in, take the y, plug it in. So plug those two things in there. The z of 32, the y of 8. Like that. And then just hit the buttons on your calculator. It's going to be, I think, 16, isn't it? 16 is our answer. Is that good? Are we good on that? All making sense? Questions? Feel free to speak up if you got questions. Otherwise, I'll keep moving. All right, so there we go. So 10 less than B. 10 less than B. Can you all see that okay? Like my key sheet, you're way in the back. Can you see that? You guys see that okay? Okay, well feel free, my key sheet, to get closer. See if there's one right there next time. No extra charge, front row. All right, whatever works for you. All right, so 10 less than B. So how do we turn that into like a math thing? Yeah, is it the B first? Or is it the 10 first? Or does it matter? Is it this one? You guys are saying this one? Yeah, that's true, huh? And it matters, doesn't it? Right? Yeah, that's what it means. And if you're confused by that, just think about what if they said 10 less, we think better with real numbers. What if they said 10 less than 100? Who would come first? The 100 would come first, huh? And the 10 would be at the back, right? So the same thing when it's this way, right? So whenever they say, it's an English thing more than it's a math thing. Just the English words, 10 less than, means the 10 goes at the back, doesn't it? It doesn't mean this way, right? On that, yeah.
What about the sign like that?
Oh, yeah, I know. You're thinking about the less than. Yeah, I know. That also means, yeah, it actually means that too, doesn't it? Yeah. No, they won't take that. But you're right. I mean, technically, it also means that, doesn't it? 10 less than B. You're right. I mean, it means either one. I just know they want the subtraction on this one.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just know they want the adding, subtracting on this. On the test, I'm glad you brought that up. The tests are multiple choice. You'll see on Wednesday we'll do a practice test. I'll hand it to you. It'll be just the same format as the real test. We'll actually take it in here for an hour. I'll run your Scantrons through real quick and give you back so you'll know where you're at the day before you take the real test on that. So anyway, it's multiple choice. So on the real test, it wouldn't be a problem because they wouldn't even have these as options. They would just have, these kind of things so you would know. But good point. Those words do mean either one, don't they? That is true on that. Yeah.
You just get a regular scan.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, let me write that. Yeah, Scantrons, you do need those. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Scantrons, 882E. It is the regular one. Yeah, it's the most normal, the tall, thin, 50 on the front, 50 in the back. Yeah, the official, it's 882E. It's the regular one that's most commonly used. You'll need, what do we need of them? 11 of them. 11 of them because we have 5 tests, but we take a practice test and a real test. So 2 times 5 is 10, and then the final is 11. So you'll need 11 of those. We'll start on that Wednesday. Wednesday, on our schedule, we have our practice exam 1 Wednesday, real exam Thursday. On that. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. So grab some Scantrons at the bookstore. 882E, normal one. Tall, thin, 50 in the front, 50 in the back. All right. Good. Of that syllabus. The whole semester. If you're got plans or something, if you're going to be out of town, I know this is summer, and people are traveling and doing different things. If you've got the whole schedule here when all the exams are planned to be, and I don't think I'll move them. We don't have a lot of movement time in summer, so they'll probably be right then. So let me know, like if you're going to miss an exam or something like that, you're out of town. Let me know ahead of time, and then we'll set something up to where you can take it like the day before in my other class or something like that. Just let me know ahead of time if you're looking at the schedule and you have some summer plans. You don't have any other summer plans than my math class, right? This is your life for these 6 weeks. Well, maybe. I'll tell myself that. All right. So, all right, let's look at this one. 50 increased by y. What do we do with the increased by? Yeah, that's just add. And now what if I write 50 plus y or I write y plus 50? Does that matter? Doesn't matter here, huh? When you're adding that, Math Excel knows that. It's pretty user-friendly. It'll take either one. It knows they're both right. The order of adding never matters, does it? Think about just like plain old numbers. 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2. It's 5 either way you do it. It doesn't matter, huh? I'm just showing that the order of adding never matters, does it? Order of subtracting matters, like that one we just did a few minutes ago. But the order of adding, don't ever sweat it. It doesn't matter. Either way is good on that. As I think you know, this section's reviewed a little bit harder ones so that, then we've covered the easier ones by default. So 2 more than twice a number. 2 more. So can you write, just use x, and once you, it says right here, use x as your variable. So when they say number, twice a number, what's the number? Use x for that. So 2 more than twice x. So can you write an expression for that? 2 more than twice x. 2 more than twice a number. 2 more than twice x. What will that look like? How do you write 2 more than twice x? 2 more. What does more mean? 2 more, 2 plus, and twice x, 2x, like that. Now, or you could put the 2 in the back, huh? It doesn't, because the order of adding again doesn't matter, right? 2x plus 2 or 2 plus 2x, either way is good. Twice x is 2 right next to x, isn't it? Because that means times, doesn't it? When there's nothing between two things, it means multiply, doesn't it? And twice means times 2. So that's correct, isn't it? Good. You remember all that from algebra, kind of your algebra experience in the past? Okay. Okay, so let's try that one. 2 less than the product of two numbers. And notice what they say up here. Use x and y for the variables. So this time there's 2 numbers, not just one number. There's not just x. There's x and y. There's 2 numbers we don't know. 2 unknowns, 2 variables, right? X and y. All right, so 2 less. Where does that 2 go? And we learned about English. When they say 2 less, it goes at the back. Huh? It's minus 2 at the back. Remember, that order matters, right? So 2 less means 2 subtracted at the back. Subtracted from what? The product. What's product mean? Multiply. The result of multiplication. The multiplying of 2 numbers. X times y minus 2. And you can't turn that around. Right? The order matters. You have to leave it that way. Is that good? Does that make sense? So the product of 2 numbers, x and y, subtract 2. 2 less than, 2 taken away from, the product, the multiplying of 2 numbers. All right, feel free to speak up if you got questions. Otherwise, I'll just keep moving along. All right, so the sum of 3 times a number plus 4 times another number. So give that a try. All right, so 3 times a number plus 4 times another number. That makes sense? Sum means add, huh? So the sum, the adding up of 3 times one number and 4 times another number. That's all they want. You just type that into Math Excel, and they'll say good job. All right, stop me if you want to talk about any of these. All right, so there's 18. Your salary after an 8% salary increase, if your salary before the increase was S for salary. Can you see all that fine? Kids, see that fine print? I'll walk back there. Give that a try. See what you can do with that. It's a little harder to see that. All right. Any thoughts? This is a harder one. Anybody got something on that? Joel, what do you think?
You got .08 and then times the S and then plus S.
0.08 times the S
And then plus your salary.
plus, like that?
Yeah.
Good job. That's really impressive. Good. Few people ever get that. Yeah.
Excel actually took 1.08S.
Yeah, Alex, you know that. We were talking about that, weren't we? In the last session. Excellent. You remember that? Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about both things. Very good, very good. Yeah, so I'm assuming most did not get this. This is a pretty advanced question. I'm impressed that some did. I love teaching. Summer is like my favorite time by far. I don't want to put down regular fall and spring people, but I always have a big chunk that's just not serious. Anyway, summer's great. My pass rates are fabulous. My pass rates jump up because I'm just a way better teacher in the summer. No, the students are just more, they're serious. You guys are serious. Like I said, I was preaching to the choir this morning because you're the serious ones. That's been I just love summer. Anyway, So yes, excellent. So let me talk you through this. So I'm assuming most did not get this though, because this is pretty tricky. We know what helps if you're reading a question like this and you're like, I don't know, I have no idea. S, I mean, what are you supposed to do here? I know you're probably thinking about a 0.08 thing, but how do you know it's like S and add another S? You know what helps? What I learned over years of taking zillions of math classes and solving lots and lots of word problems, and they weren't always easy for me at all. I thought word problems were really hard. I learned to stick a number in that I think better with a real life number than I do with like an X or an S. So I would read a word problem that confused me like this one, and I would go, all right, I don't know what they're talking about, but what if my salary was like $1,000? You know, I just think better with a real number. What if somebody said, okay, $1,000 is your salary, we're going to give you an 8% increase. Well, I could do that, and you could do that, right? You would know how to do an 8% increase. What would you do? You would take, first off, 0.08, because that's the decimal version for 8%. Everybody good with that? Right? 8%, you change that to 0.08 because the decimal goes back 2 places. When you convert from percentage to decimal, right? 2 places. So I would take 0.08, and I would multiply by 1,000, because that's 8% of 1,000. Of means times. Remember all that from, you know, when we say of in a word problem, it means times. So 8% of $1,000 is 0.08 times 1,000. And then you'd get whatever that answer is, but you wouldn't stop there. That answer, which I think would be 80 or something, that answer 80 wouldn't be the final answer. That wouldn't be my new salary. You're going from $1,000 to 80. Right? That would be the increase. So then you would need to add to that the original 1,000, right? Right? So here, I won't even figure out the in-between. You just say whatever that answer is, then add back the original 1,000. Right? I think you could all do that. If I just gave you a problem and said, $1,000, increase that 8%, use your calculator, you know, increase that 8%, what's the answer? I think every one of you could nail that out, right? Well, do that with 1,000 and then think, okay, what did I just do with that 1,000? And the 1,000 was playing the role of S. So then just go 0.08 instead of 1,000, S instead of 1,000, S. There it is. Much easier way to think, isn't it? We think better with real life numbers than we do with variables. So do it with a number and then think back and then just stick the letter in the case of the number. So yeah, that's exactly the right formula. Now, there's one other step of simplification. Remember, I think you probably do, like when you add x's and stuff, what's 2x plus 3x? Just 5x. Remember, you don't make it x squared, by the way. When do you make it x squared? Why doesn't that become x squared? There is a time that happens. When? When you're multiplying. I don't know if you remember all that. We'll review all that. And we'll go over that. But let me just mention now, yeah, if I was timesing these, that's when you get x squared. If you're adding, you just add the numbers. You don't mess with the power thing. It's just 5x. So that's called like terms. You might remember some of that, just adding like terms. So anyway, same deal here. What if I was adding 0.08x and 1x? Well, I would do the same thing. I would add the 0.08 and I would add the 1. And I would get 1.08x, right? That's what's happening with the s's, right? 0.08s and 1s. There's really a 1 there, right? Do you guys know there's invisible 1 really there? So then you just add the numbers in front, like terms. So it's 1.08s. That's the actual answer, like Alex was saying, that Math Excel wants in the end. Does that make sense? Just combine those like terms in. Or maybe, I don't know, Joel, will they take it this way?
Yeah, they took it down.
Oh, that's nice. They're pretty user-friendly. They'll take it either way, I guess. Good deal. Does that make sense? You see how that is? And by the way, that suggests a shortcut formula, doesn't it? You know, like if you need to raise a price, like this very case right here, by 8%, or suppose, when do you need to raise something 8%? What's 8% in our society all the time? Or it's 8 point something. Tax, right? What is it? 8.75. Is that what it is? You got it down. 8.75. Okay, yeah. So yeah, what if you're looking at buying something and you're looking at the price, you're like, hey, how much is that going to be with tax? And you're trying to figure out take your calculator, you know, and multiply by 0.0875 for the 8.75% tax, right? Think about what you normally do with the calculator. You take the price of whatever times 0.0875. That gets you the tax, right? And then you got to add back in the original price, don't you? To get the final price, including tax. Well, realize the price, I'll make this times with parentheses here. The price is like an X, right? So in other words, this is like X times 0.0875 plus X, or S, or whatever, right? Well, you realize what you could do with those two is like terms. There's really an invisible 1 there. Same thing we just did with the S's. 1x, 1 times your price, plus 0.0875 times your price. Doesn't matter what order. It's just seeing where you can put this in the left side if you want, if it bugs you. It doesn't matter. Add those up, like terms, 1.0875x. What's my point in all that? There's a quicker way to figure out tax, final price, everything. If you have some kind of price of something you're looking to buy, new set of tires, whatever, you know, instead of multiplying by 0.0875 and then adding back the original price, just multiply by 1.0875. And it gives you the whole thing, final price including tax, one multiplication on your calculator. Do you see that? See, the 1 gives you back the original. Because what's 1 times anything? Itself. You see, the 0.0875 gives you the tax, and the 1 gives you back the original. And you get the whole thing at once. So that's all you got to do. So I don't mean you need to do all these steps. You know, I'm just being formal about it all. I'm just saying, if you're looking at something saying tax is 8.75, I need to multiply by 0.0875, just throw a 1 in the front, and that'll give you the final price, everything, because the 1 gives you back the original. I used to take, while I was doing all that 5 years at Cal Poly, finishing my bachelor's and master's degree in math, I would always do summer jobs and work somewhere. I had a lot of fun, interesting. I worked for Aerojet, defense industry one summer, and was data entry guy. I'd always get these low-level jobs. They were kind of fun over the summer. And then my last summer I worked for PG&E. They were great company. I loved that full-time job at PG&E. They would throw us these steak barbecues in the middle of the summer and quality meat. They were very nice to their employees. Anyway, so I worked for them my last summer before I graduated. And I took bill payments at their front office. I was like a teller, kind of like you're just standing there and people come in. Some people pay their bills in person, anyway. So all the time we were doing like taxes, and I don't remember why, but we were doing percent audit. We had our little calculators, and we would calculate the thing. And so we had to do this exact kind of thing. We had to do like a percent, and then add back the original. We were doing that all day long. And so I remember showing the other tellers, like, hey, you don't need to do this every time. You can just put a 1 in front of that number. Just put a 1 in front of that decimal when you multiply, and it gives you the final answer that quick. One step. You don't have to do the 2 steps of the tax and then add back the original, And, you have to realize how they looked at me. That was their career. That was their full-time, lifelong career. And then I was the college kid that was just there for the summer, right? I was at Cal Poly, finishing my master's in math, and so I was the college kid. So when I showed them that thing, I showed the other teller people, see, all you got to do is multiply and put the 1, and I showed it, and they're like, no. I said, no, watch, see, and put the 1, and I got the answer. They were like, what? They're like, I don't know, I'm not doing that. That's some college trick. I'm not going to do that. I remember, I'm like, really? And they're like, no, it's some college trick. I don't understand that. I was like, okay. It was just funny the way they thought it was magic. I was doing magic, sleight of hand. Anyway, all right, so just throw 1 in the front, you get the whole answer. Distance, well, I'm saying it. Do you know the formula for travel? What's the travel? We'll do a bunch of word problems this semester, this 6 weeks. And anybody know the formula for travel? Distance equals rate times time. Yeah. Distance equals rate times time. I had a student 23 years ago, my second year teaching. They said, you mean the dirt formula, Mr. Heron, the dirt? I said, sure, okay, that works. So if that helps you remember, it looks like the word dirt almost. So distance equals rate times time. So driver drove 50 miles per hour. Is that a distance, a rate, or a time? 50 miles an hour.
Rate.
That's a rate. That's a speed. That's a rate, isn't it? So put the 50 in right there for R. For Y, hours. Hours. Is that distance, rate, or time? Hours. Hours is time. So you take the 50 times the Y, and that's it. That's all they want. That's the distance. And they're asking, miles. They're asking D. D equals, right? Distance equals. That's all they want. 50Y. Is that good? Rate times time is distance. So we'll do more formal word problems with the dirt formula later. We'll do a lot. We'll do 2 sets. All right. Okay, Justin had $31 before spending T dollars, that's a T, on jeans. How much money remains? Let me give you a second. I want you to write a math expression for that. So, he had $31 before spending T dollars. So, you guys know it's either going to be T minus 31 or 31 minus T, huh? And it matters, right? The order of subtraction matters. Which one? Yeah, that one, huh? Because he had 31 at first, and then he spent T dollars, so subtract the T. It's that one. 31 minus T. Is that good? Does that make sense on that? We finished one section out of our goal of 8. We'll need to move when we come back. So let's stop there. So what I do when I stop right here is